Think about the last time you just swallowed your real opinion, just to keep the peace.
Oh, I mean, we all do that all the time.
Right. You smiled, you nodded, you agreed with everyone in the room, even though inside you were completely thinking the exact opposite.
Yeah, you just want to avoid an argument.
Exactly. And you probably thought you're being polite. You thought, I'm just being a good team player here, keeping everyone happy. But according to the deep dive we are doing today, in that exact moment, you were not being polite at all.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you were actually destroying the foundation of your own respect.
Wow. That is a really harsh reality to face. Because, from childhood, we were taught that fighting or disagreeing is bad.
Yeah, totally.
We think that being agreeable, like just saying yes to everything, makes us a good person. But when we look at how human connection actually works, that habit of just giving up and trying to keep everyone comfortable, it is the fastest way to lose your own dignity.
And ironically, you also lose the dignity of the people you were trying to please. Okay, so let's unpack this. Our main source for today's deep dive is a really interesting text called The Architecture of Respect, Foundations for Life and Learning.
It's a great source.
It really is. And our mission today isn't just to talk about basic manners like saying please and thank you. We are going to completely break down what respect actually is.
Right, how it works inside our own minds and how we show it in our daily lives.
Yes, and why it is the absolute foundation of every healthy relationship, especially for you listening out there, whether you are dealing with family, office politics, or even just trying to learn a new skill like English.
Yes, the why is so important. Why do things go wrong at a family dinner or in a toxic office when we try to just be liked instead of being truly respected? We just cannot build a good life on people-pleasing.
So let's jump right into this likability trap, because it is a huge trap. We all think that if everyone likes us, then respect will just naturally follow.
We think being liked is a shortcut to respect.
Exactly, but they're completely different things. I like to think about it like food. Being liked is like sugar.
Oh, like eating a gulab jamun.
Yes. Perfect example. It gives you a quick rush. It feels amazing right now. Everyone is smiling. There's no fighting. But, then you crash. You cannot build a healthy body on sugar.
Right. Sugar doesn't make you strong.
But respect is like protein. It is like a good bowl of dal. It takes longer to digest, and maybe it doesn't taste like a sweet dessert in the moment, but it actually builds muscle and keeps the relationship strong over time.
I love that example.
Yeah.
And, if we look at the science behind this, why do our brains want that sugar so much? Why do we desperately want people to like us?
Because it feels safe.
Yes, exactly. If you go way back to ancient times, being liked by your group was not just about making friends, it was literally about survival. If your group liked you, they shared their food with you.
Right.
But if they didn't like you, if you caused problems, they would throw you out. And being alone back then meant you would probably die.
So our brains still think we were in a jungle. It feels like life or death.
Exactly. The brain has this alarm system. So when you are sitting in an office meeting and you disagree with your boss, your brain doesn't just see a normal conversation. It thinks, oh no, I am going to get kicked out of the group.
And then your heart starts beating fast, your hands get sweaty, you are in a safe AC office, but your body is panicking like you are in danger.
Yes, that is why it is so hard to stop people-pleasing. We do it to survive. But the text we are looking at today makes a really powerful point. True respect actually grows when we disagree.
Wait, explain that. How can disagreement grow respect?
Because true respect means treating someone with absolute kindness and dignity, even when you think their idea is completely wrong.
Wow, so I don't have to agree with you to respect you.
Exactly. That is the big secret. You can sit with someone, listen to them, totally disagree with everything they say, and still treat them like a valuable human being.
That is so freeing. Because the other way, trying to act like a chameleon, changing your colors to match whoever you are talking to, it is just so tiring.
It drains your energy.
You wake up every day thinking, who do I need to pretend to be today? How do I act with my boss? How do I act with my mother-in-law?
And that really hurts your own identity. When you only care about being liked, your self-worth goes up and down based on other people. If someone smiles at you, you feel great. If they look angry, you feel terrible. You are letting other people control your happiness.
Which is a really scary way to live, if you ask me.
It is. But when you switch to caring about respect, you take that control back. You decide to treat people well, not because you want them to like you, but because being a respectful person is your own personal rule.
Okay, I want to push back on this a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Because in our society, especially, in a lot of Asian and Indian cultures, respect is deeply tied to age and position. From childhood, we hear, respect your elders, respect your boss, touch their feet, say G.
Yes, we do.
We are taught that respect is something we owe to people just because they have a higher title or age. So how does this source material fit with that idea?
That is a brilliant question. The text talks about this exact friction. We have to separate two different things. First is basic human dignity, and second is earned respect.
Okay, what is the difference?
Basic human dignity means we treat every single person nicely. It does not matter if they are a CEO or the person sweeping the floor. We don't insult them. We use polite words. That is given to everyone automatically.
Right. Just basic good manners.
But earned respect, the kind where someone actually trusts your advice and truly looks up to you, that cannot be forced. A job title does not give you that kind of respect.
So if a manager starts shouting, I'm the boss, you have to respect me, what are they really doing?
They are using fear. They are just forcing you to obey. When a boss says that, or even when an elder says, just do it because I said so, they are showing their own insecurity.
They're using their power to punish you.
Exactly. You might nod your head and do the work, but you are just doing it to save your job or avoid a scolding. The second that boss leaves the room, all that so-called respect disappears.
Because it's not a real relationship, it's a hostage situation. You are just trying to avoid trouble.
Exactly. Which reminds me of a really famous test of character that the source mentions. If you want to know if someone is truly a respectful person, watch how they treat the watchman or the security guard.
Oh, yes. I love this point. Watch how the rich businessman talks to the auto rickshaw driver or the waiter who gets the tea order wrong.
Right, because if you are only respectful to the person who can give you a promotion or give you money, that is not respect. That is just buttering someone up. It is totally fake.
It is like wearing a mask. You put on a nice face for the boss, but when it's just the junior staff, you take the mask off and show your real angry face.
And that is why consistency is everything, being the same person every day. If you treat the cleaning staff with the exact same politeness as the company director, that proves you have real character.
But to be that consistent, to be that polite to everyone every single day, you need a lot of strength inside. You cannot fake it forever.
No, you can't.
Which brings us to the next big point in our deep dive, the inner compass. Before you can respect others, you have to know how to respect yourself.
The book has a very strong rule about this. The outside world will never respect you more than you respect yourself.
I think about this like an air conditioner remote, a thermostat. You set the temperature for how people are allowed to treat you.
Oh, I really like that.
If your internal temperature is set to, I don't matter, my time is not important, everyone else comes first, then people will treat you like a doormat. They will just step all over you.
Because human nature will always take what is offered. If you offer to do everything, people will let you. And setting that boundary is an ongoing job. People will always test your limits.
But saying no is so hard. The second you try to say, no, I cannot work on Sunday, or no, please don't talk to me in that tone, people get upset. Society makes us feel like saying no is very selfish.
We feel selfish because we are stuck in that likability trap we talked about earlier. When you say no, you create friction. You might disappoint an auntie or a boss, and they might not like you in that moment. But the text says self-preservation is not selfish at all.
It's necessary. But why? If I just say yes to everyone, aren't I being super helpful?
Think about what happens when you say yes to every single thing.
Yeah,
You get tired. You stretch yourself so thin that you do a bad job at everything.
that is very true.
And worse, you start to feel angry inside. You start hating the people you are helping because they're taking all your time.
You become like a sad martyr, like, oh, look at me, I do everything for everyone and nobody appreciates me.
Exactly. And a person who is exhausted and angry cannot give true respect to anyone. Saying no protects your energy. It is like building a fence around your garden so that your plants can actually grow.
That is such a good way to look at it. But self-respect is not just about other people. It is also about the promises we make to ourselves when nobody is looking.
Yes. Keeping promises to yourself.
I struggle with this one. The classic example in the text is the morning alarm, the snooze button. You tell yourself at night, okay, tomorrow at 6 a.m., I am going to wake up and exercise.
We've all been there.
The alarm rings, it is cold, you are sleepy, so you just hit snooze. It feels like a tiny, harmless thing, just 10 more minutes of sleep. But the book says this is actually a micro-betrayal.
It is, because every time you break a small promise to yourself, you are training your brain not to trust you.
Wait, really? How does hitting snooze train my brain?
Your brain collects data, just like a computer. If you say you will do something, and then you don't do it, your brain records that. Over time, your subconscious learns, my words mean nothing. I don't do what I say.
Oh, wow. So you lose confidence in yourself.
Exactly. If you don't even believe your own words, how can you expect anyone else to believe you? We often think self-respect is about big movie moments, like loudly quitting a bad job. But real self-respect is built in quiet moments.
Like waking up when you said you would, or finishing a task instead of scrolling on your phone.
Yes. Those tiny moments build your identity. And if your internal identity is strong, your external respect for others becomes very natural, which leads perfectly to how we act in our daily lives.
Yes, the everyday micro moments. We are not talking about huge, life-changing events. We are talking about the small, normal things.
Because small things reveal your true character. Anyone can act nicely at a formal wedding or a job interview.
Hmm.
But how do you act on a random Tuesday when someone is taking too long to finish a story?
Oh, that brings up the Error 404 thing from the book. This is so funny and so relatable.
It happens to everyone.
You know the feeling. Someone is talking, and suddenly you get a brilliant idea in your head. You just have to say it. So you jump in, you interrupt them. But the exact second you open your mouth, your brain goes blank. Total static. Error 404, thought not found.
It is so embarrassing, and the text jokes that this is the universe punishing you for interrupting.
But let's look at why we interrupt. People usually say, oh, I was just so excited I had to share. But what is interrupting really saying to the other person?
It is actually a way of showing dominance. When you interrupt, you are basically saying, my thought is way more important than whatever you were talking about. You need to stop so I can speak.
It is super arrogant when you think about it like that. You are treating them like a radio you can just switch off.
Which is why active listening is the ultimate form of respect. Real listening means you are actually trying to understand them, not just waiting for them to stop so you can talk.
That takes a lot of discipline. You have to put your own ego aside.
Yes, you are showing them that their voice matters. And the same rule applies to being on time. Punctuality.
Oh, Indian Standard Time. People joke about this constantly. Yeah, I am just reaching in 5 minutes, but they haven't even left their house.
We laugh about it, but if you look deeply, time is the only thing in life you can never get back.
That is so true. If I borrow 1,000 rupees from you, I can give it back next week. But if we decide to meet at 5 p.m. and you show up at 5:30, you just stole 30 minutes of my life. I can never, ever get those minutes back.
Exactly. Being late isn't just a funny habit. It is a subconscious way of saying, my time is more valuable than your time. Arriving on time is an act of respect. It shows you care about their life.
So listen carefully. Being on time, saying please and thank you. These are not just boring old rules. They make human interactions smooth.
They reduce the friction.
But, it is easy to be nice when everything is going well. The real test is when people disagree, when there is a big argument.
The crucible of conflict. This is where we really see who has respect.
And in today's world, whether it is on TV debates or social media, the loudest person gets all the attention. People think the guy shouting and banging his fist on the table is the strong leader. So if I stay calm and polite during a fight, do I look weak? Do people think they can just walk over me?
That is a very common illusion.
Huh.
Aggressive people think that if they yell loudly, their argument becomes true. But biologically, losing your temper is a sign of weakness.
Why is that a weakness? It looks scary.
Because it means you have lost control of yourself. When someone challenges your belief, your brain's fear center, the amygdala, takes over. It pumps stress hormones into your body. Shouting and throwing insults is just giving in to that animal fear. It is like a toddler having a tantrum. It takes zero strength to lose control.
You were just falling down the stairs. It is easy to fall.
Precisely. But staying calm, that takes massive mental strength, feeling your heart beating fast, but using your logical brain to control your voice. That is true power. Looking at someone who is yelling and calmly saying, I understand your point, but I see it differently.
That is so powerful because it proves your ideas are strong on their own. They don't need shouting to support them.
Think about the elders or mentors you respect the most. In a crisis, do they run around screaming?
No. They get very quiet. They get calm.
And that calmness is contagious. If you stay respectful, the other person has to calm down too, or they just look completely crazy shouting by themselves.
And this calm, safe environment is so important, not just for arguments, but for learning. Let's talk about the specific example in our source material that I know our listeners will connect with.
Yes, the vulnerability of learning a new language.
The text points out that many adults are terrified of speaking English. They know the grammar, they can read it, but when they have to talk, they freeze. And it is almost always because someone laughed at them in the past.
Which is heartbreaking. Learning a new language is incredibly brave, but it makes you very vulnerable.
Because language is how we show our intelligence, right? As an adult, you have big, smart thoughts. But in a new language, you have to speak like a small child. It is embarrassing.
It is. And if a fluent speaker laughs at your pronunciation or corrects you rudely, it feels like they are mocking your intelligence. It attacks your dignity.
So why do people laugh? Why do they make fun of someone trying to learn English?
It is usually because the person laughing is insecure. Making fun of someone who is struggling is a cheap way to feel superior. It is a massive failure of respect. You are punishing someone for trying to grow.
This makes me think about how often we might accidentally do this. Like rolling our eyes when an older parent asks how to use WhatsApp for the 100th time.
Or sighing loudly when a new coworker makes a mistake.
We think we are just being a little impatient, but to the person learning, it feels like a door slamming in their face. It tells them it is not safe to make mistakes around me.
And that stops all learning. True respect means creating a safe space for growth. It means being patient and letting people try, fail, and try again without making them feel stupid.
So how do we build this? Because it has to be a two-way street. The text talks about this reciprocity loop.
Yes, the idea that respect creates respect.
Like a mirror. If you listen to people, they listen to you. And the book gives us some really useful English phrases to help with this in daily life. Words are tools, right?
Absolutely. The words you use can physically calm down the brain. We have these things called mirror neurons. If you start shouting, my brain copies you and I get stressed. But if you speak calmly and politely, my brain copies your calmness.
So someone has to be the one to start the calmness. Patient zero for respect.
I love that phrase. Patient zero.
Let's do a quick little rapid-fire game for our listeners to teach some of these phrases. I will give you a tough daily situation, and you tell me the respectful English phrase from the text that we can use.
Oh, this sounds fun. Let's do it.
Okay, situation one. You are arguing with a friend about politics or sports. You both will never agree. It is getting heated. How do you stop the fight respectfully?
I would say, let's agree to disagree.
Let's agree to disagree. That is so good. It means, okay, we have different views, and that is fine. Nobody wins, nobody loses.
Exactly. It saves everyone's dignity.
Okay, situation two. A coworker gives you some really harsh feedback about your work. Your first instinct is to get angry. What do you say instead?
I would take a breath and say, thank you for your honesty.
Wow. Thank you for your honesty. That completely changes the mood. Instead of fighting, you are thanking them.
It instantly neutralizes the anger. It shows you value the truth over your own comfort.
One more. Situation three. Someone is sharing an idea in a meeting that you think is completely wrong, but you want to respect them before giving your idea.
I would start with, I appreciate your perspective, or I appreciate your opinion.
I appreciate your opinion. Simple, clear, and very respectful.
And you can add, but I see it slightly differently.
Perfect. These phrases are like magic spells for everyday life. But of course, this takes a lot of practice. You don't just wake up perfectly calm and respectful every day.
Definitely not. You will still lose your temper sometimes. You will still hit the snooze button. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to keep practicing. If you make a mistake, apologize and try again.
It is a lifelong journey. And as we finish our deep dive today, the text leaves us with a really powerful challenge, a way to test your own respect.
Yes, the silent observer test.
Imagine someone is following you for the next 24 hours. But here's the catch. They are completely deaf. They cannot hear a single word you say. They cannot hear your excuses or your promises.
They can only watch your actions.
Exactly. They watch what you do when the alarm rings. They watch how you talk to the waiter. They watch if you scroll on your phone while your family is talking to you.
They just look at the raw data of your behavior.
Based only on your silent actions, what would that observer think about you? Would they conclude that you respect yourself? Would they see that you respect others?
That is a mirror we all need to look into. Respect is never demanded. It is always demonstrated.
It's all about what you do, not what you say. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. I hope you found it helpful and maybe picked up some good English phrases too.
Keep practicing and be kind to yourselves and others.
We will see you all next time.